Partha Chatterjee's Nationalist Thought and the Colonial World was published in 1986. It was a path-breaking analysis of the contradictory nature of anti-colonial nationalism. The work was seminal to the critique of nationalism, emerging in the work of the Subaltern Studies Collective. It can be considered as the cornerstone of Chatterjee's own long and influential engagement with the dilemmas of post-colonial politics and their conceptualization. The two opening chapters introduce the theories that Chatterjee believes have contributed to the Western discourse about nationalism. He alludes to John Plamenatz, Hans Kohn, the conservative Elie Kedourie, and Marxists such as Adorno, Gramsci, Anwar Abdul Malik, and of course Karl Marx. Chatterjee provides little evidence that these thinkers, Marx accepted, have influenced the growth of nations in Asia and Africa. In the next three chapters, the author turns to Indian thinkers. The purpose of Chatterjee's book is to trace the evolution of nationalist thought in colonial times and to establish a link between such thinking and utopian thinking. He also challenges the validity of such thinking as well as the cunning of reason itself in a postmodern vein. While Chatterjee acknowledges the contradictions of nationalism as an ideology, in a colonial society seeking to free itself from European dominance, its very conception remains a prisoner of European intellectual fashions. European nationalist thinkers have had no more choice than Marx. According to Chatterjee, nationalist thought is characterized by the interplay between thematic and problematic, a play that offers a way out of it. Western concepts of the Orient are essentialist and unchanging, based on the distinction between the East and the West. But the problematic aspect of Western concept is that they refer to a changing environment, and within that, the creation of new political and nationalist theories which describe it. Basically, history is a dynamic process that leads to change. Chatterjee maintains that nationalist thought functions within a framework of knowledge whose representational structure corresponds to the very structure of power. Nationalism arrives at a false resolution which carries the marks of its own fragility. It may succeed in liberating the nation from colonialism, but not from the knowledge systems of the post-Enlightenment West, which continue to dominate perhaps even more powerfully. A theory of colonial nationalist thought is proposed by Chatterjee, which consists of three stages. First, at the moment of departure, colonial nationalists accept the thematic of Western thinking, the essentialist differences between West and East, and can assert independence only in a cultural sense by emphasizing the moral and cultural superiority of the East. Second, the moment of maneuver, where nationalism is asserted by decrying the modern. A figure modeled on Gandhi is a great example of this. Third is the moment of arrival, an antithetical affirmation of the modern and powerful nation state illustrated by Nehru's works. Chatterjee stresses Gandhi's challenge to the validity of civil society. Gandhi's alternative is consensus democracy. The utopia is a patriarchy in which the ruler, by his moral quality and habitual adherence to truth, always expresses the collective will. From a Leninist perspective, Gandhi is seen as a romantic reactionary based upon his belief in universal truth and denying history any direction. Gandhi, however, opened a new problematic and new historical possibility for the Indian state by creating a mass movement of the peasantry and thereby creating an ideological basis for including the entire people in the political nation. However, Nehru also refuted Gandhi's premises despite his embrace of Gandhi's movement. It is Nehru's belief that the state is the source of national regeneration, which means that he supports Gandhi's mass campaigns as well as the association of social and economic issues with nationalist demands.